everybody. Welcome to Week 5 LOL Power Rankings. It's your boy, Best Commissioner in Fantasy Sports. Um, yeah, I'm filming this on a Friday afternoon because there was a Tuesday night game this week, and waivers took place yesterday. Yesterday. So I had a bit more time to do these. We'll probably resume to the usual Wednesday next week. Um, but yeah, let's jump into it. But first, I just want to plug the article that I wrote yesterday. It's my NBA playoff accolades for the 2020 postseason. I give out my own custom awards for the King of the Hill, Live Dynamite, the National Guard, the DeLorean, All Reliable, Boy Wonder, and some others. It's a really good read. I would check it out just so I can talk about it with you and debate it. You can find it on my Snapchat story right now or my Instagram bio. Go check it out. It's a good read. All right, so let's jump into it. Number 8 this week, to no surprise, is JG again. But I have some numbers for you before we get into things. So JG is averaging 123 points per game. That's very low. He has scored 140 less points than the second worst team over the course of the whole season. So everybody's in like the 750 to like 850 range. He's like 620 or 610, I think. But opponents are scoring 170 against him per week, which is absolutely insane. So the least points, the most points for the opponent. That's kind of the reason why he's 0-5. And 170 comes out to 850 points. And there's only two teams in the league that have 850 points or more, and that's me, and that's 5-0 East. So it's like he's playing East every single week, which kind of sucks. But let's get into it. Matt Ryan's been really shitty, so now you got Big Ben. I think he'll be much better with this receiving core he has, and I think they're undefeated, so they're looking pretty good right now. That's a good pickup for you. The running backs are still really great. Stone Jones didn't play, but he's top 5, and Chris Carson, he is very consistently pretty awesome for you as an RB2. Mike Evans, he's good as well, and then the rest of the team's just kind of up and down. But things are looking up this week. I think Hunter Henry will be much better for you at tight end than Zach Ertz. Jarvis Landry starting to get his work in with Baker Mayfield. Cole Beasley is looking like a better option than Smokey Brown for you and the Bills. Dalvin Cook just went down, and you're the Alexander Madison owner. And Devin Singletary looks like the clear back in Buffalo. So things are looking okay. I hope you can upset a good team in the next few weeks. Speaking of which, I'm going to get to these really exciting really exciting matchups we have this week. So we have the cuff-off, which is me and Josh. We have the Battle of the New England Faithful, and that's the Celtics fan Jared against the Patriots fan Chris. Don't know why you guys are both living in New York, but so be it. We have the Happy Hour matchup, the tag team champions, Andrew versus John. And then we have the Adam Gase Riot Squad, which is the two Jet fans in the group, East and Zach. So those will be fun matchups this week. Let me know your predictions on those. Again, JG, tough schedule, not putting up a lot of points, but I would say things are looking up for the first time in like 3 or 4 weeks for you. Number 7, let me see how these guys are up and down. So yeah, you were 8 last week, JG. Noom, you're actually down 2 this week to 7, despite a pretty good week. And that's because the 5, 6, and 7 are really close, and we'll get into it soon. So Danger Russ still awesome. I think you have 2 pretty solid running backs, as much as we, think Todd Gurley is not great anymore. He's still good in fantasy, getting a lot of work. Him and Kareem Hunt without Nick Chubb, really good. Top 2 receivers are pretty great. Allen Robinson and Odell Beckham, really good as of late with their, resurging quarterback situation. Devontae Parker, he scored. He's a decent number 3. George Kittle didn't have the week 4 that he had last week or 2 weeks ago, but he's pretty solid as your tight end. I think he's like number 1 on per game average. And then the flexes have a lot of upside with Antonio Gibson. I think he's projected like a 15 this week. It's pretty ridiculous. And then Brandon Cooks, who everybody slept on, I guess, in free agency after putting up a fucking 0. He came back with a 30 bomber. That's what Brandon Cooks does. I guess he's going to be more utilized without Bill O'Brien in the picture. So you fell because I had to reward Zach, who's been in the 7th spot for so long. And if I didn't after this week when he put up like 180 something points, I don't know when it was going to happen. And he's very close with the 5 spot and Noom in the 7th spot, but I had to reward it. So Zach picked up his first win. Congratulations. We are led by a quarterback who I've been severely underrating in these power rankings, who's Kyler Murray, who's actually put up at least 30 in every game this year. I think he's the only quarterback, maybe outside of Josh Allen and I don't know, Dak, maybe to do that. So I'm giving out my first nickname of the week because he's putting up 30 every week. He is Murray 30 from now on. That's just who he is. You don't even have to look at his receivers are healthy, what's his running back situation, how there's the matchup, how's the weather. It's Kyler Murray splitting up a 30, Murray 30. And then we got these 2 running backs that are really looking strong as of late, Derrick Henry, King Henry, and Miles Sanders, who Zach tried to trade me. But no one's getting him anymore. Two, I would say RB1s looking really solid right now. A wide receiver 1, Erica. I think he had a solid game as well for Kansas City. That seems like such a long time ago. What game was that? Oh, was that KC in Vegas? I think Reek had a good game. He's still solid. AJ Brown finally returns. He looked as great as ever. Actually racking up a lot of catches, which you don't see from him. Hollywood Brown had a good week. Darius Slayton had a boss week. He's your flex right now, who's entirely inconsistent, but things are looking up for you. Mike Gesicki, I think, is the tight end right now. Fitzpatrick looks good. And whatever, this Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Sinclair, Upton Sinclair, Edwards Eclair. I gotta get those 4 out there every week. Lev Bell's in Kansas City right now. I don't know how much this is going to hurt Edwards' value. I think a lot. You do have some decent options on your bench if things go south, which this kind of sucks. You don't see a running back being drafted in the first round, and then they just sign one of the best running backs of the last decade. So bear with Zach on his flex situation because it's pretty shaky, but you do have your 2 solid running backs. And the number 5, even though I was one last-second Jonnu Smith touchdown away from beating Chris, and I did have 180 points, I am demoting myself 2 this week. And again, it's very close between me, Zach, and Noom right now, all health concerned. I lost Dalvin Cook this week. I think he'll be out for 2 weeks in fantasy, that is. David Johnson didn't look great in that Houston blowout win last week. My flexes are banged up. Julio Jones is banged up. But other than that, everything looks pretty solid for me. Patrick Superstar, monster. James Conner, who I just traded for, he scored. He looks solid. Pittsburgh looks really great. They're rolling. D-Generation Metcalf is one of the best receivers in football. He really is. He is wide receiver 4, I think, right now. Pretty insane. I picked up CeeDee Lamb, who had an incredible week despite Prescott going down. He's wide receiver 11, I think. And their new nickname here, because he can contribute in whatever offense or quarterback they throw his way, I'm giving Diggs the nickname Digsney Channel. He's just producing stars out of all these quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, Josh Allen, a few others throughout his career. So he's solid. He's wide receiver 5, I think. So really great receiving core for me. Mark Andrews is 0.1 points better than Jonnu Smith this year, so he's tight end 3, actually. And then, like I was saying, my flex situations, I think I'm okay right now with Devontae Freeman in this somewhat reviving Giants offense. And then let's see who I play flex this week. I guess I'm going with Edelman or Julio or Robert Tonyan, who I spent a lot of money, whatever. Not looking great. And then in the 4 spot, I put Drew up 2, and I've been holding him back unfairly for the last couple of weeks with how strong his team is performing. And since Deshaun Watson really revived himself this week, he looked rejuvenated in the Texans offense with Will Fuller, who he also has. It's time to reward him. And I'll just say the last thing about my team. So, like, Noom, it's kind of unfair. You're down. I'm down. Zach, I put you up because you had a great week. If you want to keep the 6th spot, produce again this week and make something crazy happen against East. But Noom, I'll tell you this right now: whoever wins their matchup will go up 1 spot in the rankings. Drew, it was really close between you and me and the others this week, but again, I'm rewarding you because Watson, this really solid receiving core of Adam Thielen, who is having no problems without Stephon Diggs. Tyler Boyd, still good. Will Fuller, getting a lot of work and touchdowns as he always does, and he's healthy. Knock on wood. DJ Chark, I don't know if he played last week, but he's still good. And then Juju Smith-Schuster. If we think Chase Claypool is going to be the number 1 there, like because of his talent, then Juju is a really strong secondary option in the coming weeks. The tight end situation, whoever's healthy, Fant or Ingram, it's all right. They're about 9, 10, 11 points a week. And the best part about this team right now is the running backs, who are just putting up monster numbers. Josh, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Schmidt had a new nickname. I know you hate these because a new nickname means you're cursed, but fuck you. We are going with the man behind the mask, who I think is Christian McCaffrey secretly. It's Mike Davis, who is now the great imposter. I don't know how he's doing it. The Panthers offense is just going to produce insane backs, I guess, with how they use them in PPR and in the end zone and getting them a bunch of carries. The O-line must be pretty good. I don't know. But this guy deserving the nickname after 3 consecutive 20-point weeks. He had like 30 the past week. He's finally deserving of some real serious recognition as probably the best running back in fantasy besides Kamara over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, let's see how much he can keep McCaffrey off the field. Number 3, very close between 2 and 3, but I'm actually demoting Rad 2 spots or 1 spot. I think 1 spot. Yeah, Rad down 1 spot, I think. Yeah, it's a 3. He actually lost this week. And he lost because we said it last week. He and Dak Prescott will just keep rolling together. But he had a very unfortunate ankle injury, which he broke, and it was disgusting, but brutally awesome to see. And yeah, so no more Dak Prescott. And that probably really hurts you. As I raved about last week, it's like a 20-point advantage every single week for you. And now you got to deal with Matt Stafford, who seems to do better or worse depending on the matchup. We'll see how he can do for you. I'm sure there's good quarterbacks on the market if you want to pick one up. Are you going to play matchups again? I don't know. It's just a very significant loss, and it's going to hurt you for sure. Fortunately, you've had a plethora of injuries, and this is luckily your only loss of the season. I don't know how things are going to go against Chris this week, but we'll see. So yeah, Stafford. The running backs are actually solid without Nick Chubb right now. Jonathan Taylor, probably your number 1 just on how consistent he is. James Robinson, I think, is still a top 10 running back. Your flexes have been pretty awesome. Myles Gaskin's a number 1, clearly. Rojo, he held off Le'Veon Bell in free agency. Fournette looks like he's not getting involved right now. Rojo's been a stud the last few weeks. So 4 awesome, consistent running backs that should carry the workload, that should carry the load for you, and you don't have to worry about the quarterback loss as much. With Davante Adams coming back, it'll certainly help. It just won't affect your rankings this week. We love DeAndre Hopkins, who I think is number 1. Kenny Golladay, still a stud. And I'm just realizing if they do very well together, that you'll have double trouble for your opponents having Stafford and Golladay score and rack up points. And then Keenan Allen, who did get hurt, but he looked great with Justin Herbert. I'm not worried about him. Team's looking solid. Just hurts to lose the quarterback. You don't have your RB1. Oh, and I'm forgetting Waller Greens, who is a stud in the Vegas offense. He's the number one guy. Yeah, pretty solid all around. Team for you just hurts with those injuries. Number two, Webby, you're up to this week. Very generous, demoting myself so much and putting you up so much because you barely beat me this week, and I am shocked how that unfolded on Tuesday night, but it happened. The great stuff is, Kamara Onana, superb, still getting it done, really making the Jets and Adam Gase look like an asshole every week. Travis Kelce, great. Bobby Trees, awesome. He's the franchise. Calvin Ridley, the team keeps losing, but he gets plenty of chances to score. Jonnu Smith, I think, is your real flex too. Even if you decide not to play him, he's been really excellent, like at least double-digit points every week, and a real red zone threat. Terry McLaurin doing fine, whatever that quarterback situation is. David Montgomery looked pretty awesome against the Bills. And yeah, everything looks great. Lamar Jackson's still dipping, but as a Ravens fan, I can tell you they're really trying to revive that offense. And he's trying to get a lot of work, a lot of production, I would say. They're going to try to pass a fuck ton more. And the running back situation is a carousel. So I think things are looking up despite Jackson's really slow start. I had to put you up because Montgomery, and even Kenyon Drake, even if he's going to lose his job soon, or he's in a big timeshare regardless. Montgomery's giving you a pretty considerable number two. All three wide receivers starting for you right now are big producers. Your tight end is the best by far. Your flexes are solid, and you have the number one fantasy running back. And the number one is East, who outlasted Jared, and it wasn't really close in the battle of undefeated. You're currently 5-0. Josh Allentown didn't have a great week against Tennessee, but still one-man wrecking crew. The running backs, the quarterback situations, like it's all right for both of their teams, Burrow and I guess Andy Dalton. So I expect these running backs to get a lot more work, Elliott and Mixon, in the coming weeks. That's looking up for you. Mini USA, Amari Cooper wasn't getting anything with Dak Prescott on Sunday, so I don't know how he's going to fare with Andy Dalton. Maybe he's going to rely on him as like the security blanket. We don't know. Hurt Lockett, up and down, boomer bust guy. But Russell Wilson's still rolling. Cooper Kupp, really solid. That's Jared Cobb's fucking boy. TJ Hawkinson, I think he's fine as your tight end. And really, like, it's a really clear separation between you and the field just because of these flexes. You got Raheem Mostert, who could be the RB2 if Mixon falls off and he continues to play well. He's been very good, like at least 20 points on a per game average for Mostert, I think. He's really good at running the ball and in PPR, and he's absolutely a stud. And then the last nickname of the week comes down to the last player, who is an automatic twin. The team is a shit show. They just lost Lev Bell. I don't know how they're going to run the ball. I don't know how they're going to pass the ball. I don't know how they're going to play defense, but they throw to Jamison Crowder, who does everything to make this from being a college football team. And because he's a Jet and his name is Jameson, I'm giving him the nickname Irish Airlines. You can have fun with that. And I think that that's going to be his nickname, a really good one for the rest of the season. He's an insane flex too, or flex, whatever. He should be one of your starting wide receivers in those spots, but those guys are so good, and I'm not even including DJ Moore, who had a good week. Jamison Crowder, absolute fucking stud. It's weird that you're being led by two New York players in fantasy. I want to consider Allen the King of New York. So yeah, there's it's a pretty solid team. And I will say about East, however, he's had a pretty easy schedule. For all the points that he's putting up, he's like the absolute reverse of John. He has had an average 144 points against per week. That is like nothing. That is pretty much like playing like a team a little better than John each week. So I think that your time is due very soon to lose East, I have to say. Um, so, JG8, Noom 7, a very surprising 7. Zach, got to give him up for 6. I demote myself entirely to 5. Drew goes up to 4. Rad down to 3. Levy soars up to 2, and East holds on to his 1 spot. Check out my article. It's going to be a great Sunday. And yeah, so just I hope everybody was enjoying their week. I hope we get to hang out tonight or tomorrow, whatever. Thanks for watching the rankings. Yes, end stream.